fan of sports must take in interest. And therefore, I hope that KRU shall be open to this kind of scrutiny. And perhaps even as a house, we can assist them to achieve their objectives, because it's not just about pointing fingers of accusation, but finding nexus through which we can collaborate with them, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we take rugby to even greater levels than what it already is. While still on the topic of sports, Mr. Speaker, I must express great dissatisfaction with the operations at Sports Kenya, Mr. Speaker. You know, Mr. Speaker, that this country has only one continental tour known as the Kipkeino Classic, and it happens once every year. We are the only African country, actually, that has the honor of serving, of hosting, actually, that international, a gold league standard competition, Mr. Speaker. And this year, I saw a memo being released yesterday by Sports Kenya that because of the unavailability of Nyayo Stadium and Kasarani, it shall be held at the Ulinzi Stadium. That cannot be the case, Mr. Speaker. I am told that Sports Kenya gave a contractor to repair the running track at Nyayo Stadium. Some fellow who could not tell the difference between what glue to use on that tartan, and therefore they showed up with super glue and ended up messing up the entire track. If that is a case, and Kipkeino Classic, Mr. Speaker, is held at Ulinzi and we end up losing the hosting right of that institution, I don't see why the board and the CEO of Sport Kenya should remain in office. It's really unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. We still have time up to the 31st of May, where this event will be happening, for them to put their act together. But we cannot tolerate, Mr. Speaker, that kind of... You cannot expect, Mr. Speaker, that international athletes will run on
for a service. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, on the statement that has been brought by my sister, Senator Karen Nyamu, when the current governor, Sakaja, was running, he promised a city of dignity and order. I will leave it to the public to judge his performance so far, whether there is dignity and there is order in this city. Honorable Speaker, because my office is across from me is at KICC, sometimes even leaving KICC is difficult. There's hawkers protesting at his office every day. The inhumane manner in which these kanjos continue to handle the people, Honorable Speaker, we have to call him out, because he's the one who made a specific promise. It is as if these city council askaris, Honorable Speaker, are incorrigible. That even when he promised us that he's going to take them for training, how do you need, what training do you need to be humane when you're doing your job, Honorable Speaker? Just recently, the PWDs who also do their business on the streets in Nairobi were kicked out, and Honorable Speaker, you know these are people who need to be handled with care. Every single day you wake up, Honorable Speaker, there is a case of these kanjos mishandling Kenyans and the people of Nairobi. So when the governor appears before this committee, let him answer to the people of Nairobi what is going on with this force. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Bone.
Mr. Speaker, in 1989, Parliament kept quiet when Professor Wangari Maathai single-handedly fought the president, the then president of Kenya, over grabbing of Uhuru Park, because they wanted to put up a hotel of 60-story. I want to congratulate Senator Seki that now you have allowed Parliament to speak to this attempt to grab the Ngong Road forest. Mr. Speaker, the committee must clearly tell the country who is the developer. 2, does Ngong Road forest still exist, or these politicians have excised it and shared it among themselves? Mr. Speaker, I want to request members of the public to forgive some of the clean politicians. Not all politicians want to grab land, want to have land in the city. A green space in a city is a big thing. It must not take any effort to protect it. And because this is not an accident, Mr. Speaker, this developer actually went there, received permits, he was given licenses, he has even cut trees in that place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it must concern this House that this attempt is a stone throw away from Talanda City. So these greedy people, corrupt people, they are dying to have a hotel next to the new city so that they can do business. All this is vanity. Why don't they ask God? God will tell them that whether they like it or not, the law will catch up with them, and death is going to catch up with them. Let us protect Nairobi, the famous green city in the sun. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Morgan.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wanted to seek a clarification from the communication that you had earlier made to the House, touching on Senator Gloria Oroba. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to bring it to the attention
Senator Mogeni,
yes.
We are now on comments on the statement that have been requested. If you don't have any comments, kindly yield.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I wanted on 11th of May 2021, President was set. A similar communication was made to the House.
Yes, but let us dispense with the comments
My majority
first.
here.
Let us dispense with the comments
thank
first.
you.
Because we have limited time to do this.
I abide.
Senator Osotsi. No, Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to comment on two statements. The first statement by Senator Sifuna on the affairs of the Kenya Rugby Union. Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate that most of the sporting associations in Kenya are riddled with corruption and mismanagement. And I think it's important that the committee that will be looking at this matter to go to the depth of the issues at the Kenya Rugby Union so that those officials who are involved in any kind of malpractice should be subjected to the law. It is unfortunate that our associations which are supposed to be managing the sports for the welfare of our youth, they are instead turning those associations into money-minting ventures. And that is why this country, which has huge potential in sports, is lagging behind in sports because of the conduct of the very people who are supposed to be managing this association. I also want to comment on the statement by Senator Mwaruma on the issue of non-remittance of statutory deduction by county governments. Mr. Speaker, this problem is rampant in most counties. We continue to see queries around non-remittance of
the mama bogas, the border, the hustlers, Mr. Speaker. We will not allow Sakaja to get away with this. It must be dealt with. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I begin by commenting on the statement by Senator Karen on the hawkers. We must realize that hawking is a very important industry in any area or in any society, because it's in hawking, it's only in hawking that you need minimum capital to be able to engage and trade. With 50 shillings, you can buy tomatoes and make 100 shillings at the end of the day. So we only need to find a way of regulating this industry of quick wealth generation so that young people can be able to engage in it. And also, given the low capital requirements sometimes, it's the only area where people are disadvantaged can engage in some form of enterprise to move forward. On the question of the rugby union, I think generally sports in this country has been taken for granted. Sports is no longer just an idle area. Sports is a major industry. Sports is a major industry, and in a country that is grappling with employment challenges, very huge unemployment, I think if we gave it the chance, the attention it requires, sports should move forward. I do, because why all these things are happening is you go back to law enforcement. Law enforcement is heavily compromised. The Office of the Auditor General, the EACC, the police, all these people are so compromised that you find people do what they want and they tell you to do whatever, they dare you. But the time is coming when we should really, Mr. Speaker, sir, have these organizations called to book. Where there is this rampant misuse of funds or public institutions, we should also be holding to account the organizations that are supposed to do the audit. There's been a trend to think that Parliament does audits. Parliament does not do audits. Parliament can act on it. And finally, on the question of the youth bulge and the youth challenges in this country, we cannot sweep them under the carpet. Young people have no jobs, young people have got no future, young people have got no idea they're facing, and it's time we stopped doing the nonsensical things we are good at doing and focus on changing this country, on making the taxes of this country work for the people. We should stop theft. There's too much theft in this country. Right from the top of the government going down, everybody is stealing, and stealing without any fear. If we don't stop that, our youth are headed nowhere. Not any shame, as the bull of Nandi is telling me. So it is time for us to
Asante sana Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii kuchangia taarifa. Na ni vizuri julikane Bwana Spika ya kwamba watu ambao wanafanya biashara za rejareja wana haki Bwana Spika, kwa sababu wao wenyewe wanachangia zaidi katika maendeleo ya nchi Bwana Spika. Na ikumbuke sisi tulisema ya kwamba tulikuwa tukifanya siasa ya kwamba wale walalahoi wanapaswa wawe wakiangaliwa Bwana Spika. Haitakubalika Bwana Spika, na ni jambo la kuvunja moyo sana ikiwa wale ambao wanafanya biashara za rejareja hawapewi fursa Bwana Spika, wanahangaishwa, kusumbuliwa Bwana Spika. Hawezi wakasimama mahali popote katika jiji hili ama sehemu zozote za nchi ya Kenya Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo sisi sote Bwana Spika tuna haki ya kufanya biashara mahali popote Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo nataka kusema ya kwamba jambo hilo kamati ambayo itakayoshughulikia ijue ya kwamba watu wote wapewe haki za kufanya biashara. Iwe biashara kubwa, iwe biashara rejareja, iwe biashara yoyote Bwana Spika. Ikiwa mtu amefuata taratibu za kisheria Bwana Spika, anapaswa apewe fursa kama mtu mwingine yoyote afanye kazi yake. Na tunamwambia Governor wa Nairobi Bwana Spika, tumwambie vizuri, tuelewe, kwa sababu ni hivi juzi tulikuwa naye hapa katika Seneti. Alikuwa akitetea hawa wafanyi biashara wa rejareja. Sijui ni nini kimefanyika, amepinduka Bwana Spika, anawafukuza ni kama swara hapa mjini, hakuna mahali wanaweza wakaketi. Hawezi wakatengenezea hata choo Bwana Spika, na wale ndio wanaolipa kodi Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri hata wao waangaliwe Bwana Spika. Asante na nashukuru.
Senator Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to make a comment on the statement by Senator Karen Nyamu. Karen Nyamu, Senator, I'm making a comment on your statement. It will be important for you to listen because it's an important statement. Mr. Speaker, when on December 17th, 2010, a vendor by the name Mohamed Bouaziz, in a small city in Sidi in Tunisia, set himself on fire outside the office of the governor. To the eyes of many people, it was just a vendor who was expressing frustration because of harassment by the city county government at that time. But Mr. Speaker, what followed that act led to what today is known as the Arab Spring, which brought down
governments in that region. So, Speaker, vendors, street vendors, are an important segment of any city, any society, anywhere. I do understand, Mr. Speaker, the need for cities to be clean and for us to develop what we are calling smart cities. But, Mr. Speaker, that must be balanced with the need to allow people to earn a living. When you chase street vendors and you get them out of the streets without providing them with alternatives, what exactly are you telling them to do? As Speaker, it is the responsibility of our governments, both local governments and the national government, to find ways and means of enabling people at the lower segments of the pyramid, economic pyramid, to earn a decent living. As Speaker, yesterday, or was it today? It was the day last week, Mr. Speaker. I was having a conversation with the Minister for Cooperatives, Honorable Wycliffe Oparanya. I was talking about this access to the ASLA fund. And I'm wondering, Mr. Speaker, on the one hand, the national government is enabling access to funds for young people to start small little businesses. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, the city county government of Nairobi is chasing those very young people from doing their businesses on the streets of Nairobi. What would have been better, Mr. Speaker, is for the the county government of Nairobi to provide premises, places where vendors can do decent business. But charging young people with batons and women and beating them up, Mr. Speaker, to get them out of the street, Mr. Speaker, I think we are way, way past that era. And I want to call upon our friend, Senator Governor Sakaja, to rethink that strategy of getting vendors out of the streets. There are better ways of doing it, Mr. Speaker, than beating up people and chasing them from the streets. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Newton.
Asante Bwana Spika. Nami nataka niseme moja mawili kuhusu taarifa ambayo imetolewa na Seneta wa Kajiado, Seneta Seki, kuhusu ujenzi wa hoteli katika ndani ya msitu wa Gong. Bwana Spika, na hili ni jambo ambalo linatuhusu na kututia wasiwasi, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, tunajua kwamba kunayo hofu kwamba joto linaendelea kuzidi katika ulimwengu mzima, na ndio sababu kwamba tumeambiwa na hata serikali imesema kwamba kila mtu aweze kupanda miti 2, 3 na kadhalika, ili kwamba tuone kwamba misitu yetu inaendelea kukua na wala sio kupungua. Bwana Spika, kama walivyotangulia kusema wenzangu, wale ambao wametwikwa jukumu la kulinda misitu wamekuwa wakilala katika kazi zao, na mahali ambapo ama wakati ambapo wananchi ama mashirika tofauti wanapo leta mambo haya katika mwanga, hapo ndipo wale sasa walio na jukumu hili la kulinda misitu wanapokuja na kutupatia vijisababu ni kwamba ni kwa nini kumetokea mambo kama yale. Na kama alivyosema mwenzangu mmoja kwamba juzi pale katika Karura, wakati walikuwa nakata misitu, wakasema kwamba walikuwa wanaondoa ile miti ya zamani ili kuweka miti ya kisasa, lakini walikuwa wanakata miti yote. Ikiwa walikuwa wanataka kuondoa miti ya zamani na kuleta miti ile mingine sasa ya kisasa, wangekuwa wanakata michache, wanaacha michache. Kwa hivyo wanapokata miti kwa kijumla, tunashuku kwamba kuna watu wanaotaka kufanya mijengo ndani ya misitu, na ni lazima Bwana Spika, kulingana na katiba, ni lazima kwamba kabla ya kukata miti katika msitu kwamba umma uulizwe maoni yao, waweze kutoa maoni, na ni lazima kamati ambayo itachunguza swala hili ituambie, je, umma ulihusishwa? Je, umma ulipohusishwa waliamua aje? Je, walipitisha kwamba hoteli ijengwe mle ndani ya msitu? Na hoteli ile inajengewa nani? Ni nani mwenye kujenga ile hoteli? Manake Bwana Spika, kilicho muhimu sana ni kujua kama ni nani anayejenga ndani ya hoteli, kwa sababu naamini yule ambaye anajenga ndani ya hoteli hii ndani ya msitu ni lazima ni mtu aliye na ushawishi mkubwa katika serikali, na kwa hivyo ni lazima tujue ni nani. Mimi kwangu la mwanzo ni kama tujue ni nani, ili tujue huyu ambaye anajenga bila kuhusisha umma, huyu anayejenga bila kuulizwa na maafisa ambao wamepatiwa jukumu hili la kulinda misitu, je ni nani? Halafu Bwana Spika, ni lazima tujiulize, je ni miti iliyokatwa pale ama palikuwa ni mahali ambapo palikuwa hapana miti? Na je, kuanzia sasa kwenda mbele tutahakikishiwa na nani kwamba misitu yetu isalama? Tutahakikishiwa na nani kwamba misitu yetu haitaendelea kukatwa? Bwana Spika, hili ni jambo ambalo kamati ya mashamba na turathi za kitaifa lazima iangalie kwa makini sana, na ninataka kuamini kwamba mwenyekiti wangu seneta wa Mombasa, Seneta Faki, ameyasikia haya na kwamba alipatie kipaumbele jambo hili.
Senator Beatrice Kenya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the statement by Senator Ameda over the housing facilities for forest rangers. Honorable Speaker, housing is a basic need for all of us. Honorable Speaker, I'm on record having raised a complaint here about the housing situation at the Ndewa police station, Honorable Speaker. And on the same example that Senator Ameda has given here about forest rangers, there are notorious organizations that really are housing their officers in a very, very pathetic way, Honorable Speaker. There was really no need of having officers serving the public, but when you go to where they stay, and in houses provided by governments, the housing is pathetic, Honorable Speaker. This even reflects on the services that they give out there to Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, the housing state of the police officers at Ndewa police station, a station that is old, a station that houses over 100 police officers. If you go to that station, Honorable Speaker, you can only sympathize with the officers. They live in shanties. Some of them you can see through. Some of them that are shared amongst 2 or 3 families. And Honorable Speaker, what kind of indignity can that be? And how do we subject our officers to such kind of treatment, Honorable Speaker? And so this must be looked into, not only limited to the forest rangers, but to the National Police Service, and even to the prison warders across the county, Honorable Speaker. I secondly want to support this statement by Senator Mwaruma on the non-remittance of statutory deductions. Honorable Speaker, it is unfair that mostly county governments are not remitting some of these statutory deductions. Honorable Speaker, why would the counties deduct money from their workers but not remit them, Honorable Speaker? Some of these workers have been denied very basic services that they are entitled to. Some of them at the beginning of school calendars, their parents, the workers of these county governments go for loans from their SACCOs, and they are not able to get loans because their employers have failed them, Honorable Speaker. So their children do not go to school in time, and Honorable Speaker, I find this not only unfair, but this is a criminal act by the county government. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, on the statement by Senator Karen, Honorable Speaker, why should we mistreat and harass hawkers that are doing their businesses and the county government collects cess from these hawkers? The hawkers must be given an environment in which to do their businesses with dignity.
Senator Joyce.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Mine is just to touch on the statement that was raised by Honorable Seki. Honorable Speaker, I would want to agree with a number of questions that he has raised pertaining the approvals that have been done to the said developer who is developing this hotel inside the forest. Honorable Speaker, I know this is one of the government agenda of cleaning this country. And it will look so weird for us to maybe allow some of the few individuals to maybe move ahead and get the trees in the pretense of putting up an hotel. Yet we have a number of freelance that they can develop the same, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that, Honorable Speaker, the culprit should be brought to book. Let's know who is this person who is giving these approvals. These are some of the measures that they are putting us as a country, Honorable Speaker. Sometimes you find a number of evictions that are being done in the country. They are done because of some careless people who are in offices, who are just giving people approvals which are not without following the due process, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that it is true that we need to get the details of this and action must be taken. Thank you.
Now, Honorable Senators, the 30 minutes allocated to this session has since terminated. We now move to the next order. Clerk, call the next order.
Order number 8, the Division of Revenue Bill, National Assembly Bills number 10 of 2025. Second reading, resumption of debate.
Now, at the interruption of debate on Wednesday, 21st May 2025, during the morning session, Senator Karungo Thangwa had the floor and had a balance of 12 minutes. I do not see him in the House. We will therefore proceed to allow other senators to pick it from there. Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia mswada wa ugavi wa fedha kwa mwaka 2025-2026. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza kabisa niseme kwamba mswada huu ni muhimu sana katika nchi yetu kwa sababu ndio kinara cha miswada yote ambayo inahusiana na masuala ya fedha katika nchi yetu. Baada ya hii nafikiri ndio kutakuja mswada wa kara, yani ule mswada ambao unagawanya zile fedha kati ya kaunti zetu, na vile vile zitakuja yale masuala ya mengine ambayo yanagawanya zile pesa kama vile appropriation account acts ambazo zinatoa pesa zile kutoka kwa hazina kuu kwenda kwa wizara na vile vile via kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, mwaka jana kulikuwa kuna changamoto nyingi ambazo zilisababisha mswada huu ambao tuliupitisha mara ya kwanza ukienda kwa maelewano, baadaye ukarejea tena kwa vile mswada wa fedha wa serikali ulikuwa umeondolewa katika bunge. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mwaka huu tumeona kwamba serikali, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningeomba nisikizwe kwa makini. Kuna senator mbele yangu hapa kutoka Migori. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mwaka huu tumeona kwamba serikali imejizatiti na kupendekeza kwamba fedha ambazo zitakwenda kwa kaunti zetu iwe ni bilioni 405. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ikikumbukwa kwamba mwaka jana sisi kama bunge la Senate tulipitisha kwamba bilioni 415 ziweze kwenda katika kaunti zetu. Baadaye tulipokwenda katika maelewano, tuliweza kukubaliana na mswada wa bilioni 385 ambazo ndizo pesa zilikubalika kwenda katika kaunti zetu kwa mwaka 2024-25. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ni makosa kwa serikali kuu kupendekeza pesa zile ambazo mwaka jana sisi kama bunge la Senate tulisema kwamba hazitoshi kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia kuhusiana na asilimia zile fedha ambazo zinakuja kwenye kaunti zetu kutoka 2013 mpaka sasa, pesa zile asilimia ile imekuwa ikipungua kila mwaka Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo japokuwa tunaona kwamba pesa zinaongezeka, lakini kimipango ama kihesabu za asilimia pesa zile zinazidi kupungua. Na nafikiri sasa ni chini ya asilimia 15 ya zile pesa ambazo mwanzo kabisa ziliweza kuletwa katika kaunti zetu. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tunasema kwamba japokuwa kuna changamoto ambazo serikali kuu inapata kukusanya kodi katika nchi yetu, changamoto hizi Mheshimiwa Spika pia zinakumba kaunti zetu. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, kama ni hali mbaya ya biashara, ni nchi nzima ina hali mbaya ya biashara. Kwa hivyo yale ambayo yanaathiri kaunti vile vile yanaathiri serikali kuu. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, magari yanayotembea katika kaunti yananunua mafuta kwa bei ile ambayo inauziwa serikali. Kwa hivyo inawezekani serikali ijiongezee katika serikali kuu ijiongezee katika mgao wake, wakati serikali za kaunti Mheshimiwa Spika zinaendelea kupata shida. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeona pia kwamba katika changamoto ambazo zinakumba kaunti zetu, moja ni kuwa kuna ucheleweshaji mkubwa wa ule mgao ambao unakuja katika kaunti zetu. Hivi sasa kwa mfano nafikiri malipo ya mwisho yalipwa katika mwezi wa 3. Yaani kwa sasa wako nyuma kwa karibu miezi 2. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, vile vile utapata kwamba serikali za kaunti haziwezi kulipa kodi kama zile kodi ya mapato pay as you earn na kodi nyingine ambazo zinakusanywa na serikali za kaunti ili kupeleka katika hazina kuu. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, iwapo hizi pesa zitaendelea kuchelewa, ina maana kwamba utendakazi wa kaunti zetu umezorota, na vile vile ukusanyaji wa fedha pia kwa serikali kuu utakuwa umedorora, kwa sababu fedha zile ambazo zinakwenda katika kaunti ndio zinalipa kodi kwa wafanyakazi wa kaunti, na vile vile pia wafanyakazi wanapata fursa ya kuweza kulipa pesa zile. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika mswada huu pia tumeona kwamba serikali kuu imetoa kuna masuala ya equalization fund, hazina ya usawa Mheshimiwa Spika. Hii hazina hii Mheshimiwa Spika, japokuwa ilianzishwa mwaka 2010 baada ya kupitisha katiba mpya, Mheshimiwa Spika, pesa hizi zimeweza kukaa sana kwa mikono ya serikali kuu, kwa sababu kulikuwa hakuna kanuni ama sheria endelezi kuziweza kuzitoa pesa hizi kutoka kwa serikali kuu kuja kwa serikali za kaunti. Mheshimiwa Spika, ilibidi mpaka bunge la 12 ndio tuliweza kukubaliana hapa kama Senate, tukasema kwamba zile sheria zipitishwe hivyo ndio pesa ziweze kutoka. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna malumbukizi ya miaka mingi ambayo hayajakwenda katika kaunti zile. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia kuna karibu bilioni 2,736,739 na shilingi 351 ambazo hizi hazina hii ya equalization inadai hazina kuu. Mheshimiwa Spika, pesa hizi zinasaidia kupunguza zile tofauti ambazo ziko baina ya kaunti fulani na maeneo mengine ambayo hayana maendeleo. Kwa mfano, kuna sehemu hazina maji safi Mheshimiwa Spika. Kuna sehemu hazina zahanati na pesa hizi zilinuiwa kufanya kazi hizo. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, iwapo zinaendelea kucheleweshwa ama kutopelekwa katika kaunti zile na hazina ya hii ya usawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ina maana kwamba mara nyingi zile kazi ambazo natakana kufanywa katika maeneo yale ili ziweze kuwa sawa na kaunti zingine inaendelea kuchelewa, na hivyo basi kutakuwa hakuna usawa, japokuwa hazina hii ilibashiriwa kutumika kwa muda wa miaka 20. Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja serikali ilipe yale madumbukizi ambayo yako ili hazina iweze kufanya kazi na watu waweze kupata maendeleo yale ambayo yalikuwa yamekusudiwa kuangaliwa na hazina hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la mwisho ni kuwa naunga mkono mapendekezo ya kamati ya fedha na bajeti ya bunge hili kwamba pesa ambazo zitakwenda kwa kaunti zetu ziwe ni bilioni 465 milioni 1,459,700 shilingi 673. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia hii si kwamba hati kaunti zetu zinapewa fedha kuweza kufanya ubadilifu, la, lakini hizi ni fedha ambazo zitaweka katika hali ambayo wataweza kusimamia bajeti zao kisawasawa. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna masuala ya wafanyaji kazi wa afya, wahudumu wa afya ambao kila wiki Mheshimiwa Spika lazima watusalimie hapa bunge. Wafanyaji kazi wale Mheshimiwa Spika, wengine juzi kumetolewa agizo kwamba wapelekwe katika county, payroll yao iende katika county Mheshimiwa Spika. Iwapo itaenda kwenye county na pesa hawajapelekewa Mheshimiwa Spika, watalipwa na nini? Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna huduma nyingine ambazo why don't you go to the lounge? Mheshimiwa Spika, huduma zile ambazo hawa wahudumu wanapeana Mheshimiwa Spika, wahudumu wa afya wanapeana, iwapo watakosa kulipwa mishahara Mheshimiwa Spika, hali ya afya itadorora katika kaunti zetu, kwa sababu hawa wanafanya kazi muhimu sana ambayo haiwezi kudharauliwa na kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia masuala ya SHA yameongeza mzigo katika kaunti zetu. Tukiangalia masuala ya kodi ya nyumba, housing levy, Mheshimiwa Spika, haya ni masuala ambayo yameongeza mzigo katika kaunti zetu. Kwa hivyo basi inapaswa hii mgao uongezeke ili kuweza kufidia yale mapengo ambayo yataweza kuachwa na zile pesa ambazo zimekusudiwa kupelekwa katika kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo maanisha kwa hatusemi kwamba hakuna ubadilifu katika kaunti zetu Mheshimiwa Spika. Ukiangalia Mheshimiwa Spika, kila kaunti ina madhambi yake. Kwa mfano Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti ya Mombasa ilipewa pesa za kuweza kujenga zile wanaita county aggregated industrial parks, karibu milioni 100 Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini ukienda katika viwanja vile ambavyo vinajenga hizo county aggregated industrial parks Mheshimiwa Spika, utapata kwamba ni jiwe la msingi ambalo liliwekwa na waziri wa zamani wa biashara Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria, na mwaka jana, mwanzoni wa mwaka jana, na mpaka leo Mheshimiwa Spika hakuna jambo lolote linaendelea katika maeneo yale. Mheshimiwa Spika, ukiangalia masuala kama ya barabara katika kaunti ya Mombasa Mheshimiwa Spika, barabara nyingi Mheshimiwa Spika kwa sasa hazipitiki kwa sababu ya mvua, na utapata ziko barabara za kura, ziko barabara za county, zote hizi Mheshimiwa Spika ziko katika hali mbovu kabisa, na mji wa kitalii kama wa Mombasa haupasi kuwa na barabara kama zile Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini utapata kwamba kaunti zetu zinatoa kipaumbele kwa mambo ambayo hayana msingi wowote ya kuendeleza kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia katika masuala ya education, ya elimu, masuala ya elimu, japokuwa kaunti zinatakana ziangalie mambo ya chekechea, elimu ya chekechea na vile vile elimu ya kiufundi. Kaunti ya Mombasa Mheshimiwa Spika ina taasisi mbili peke yake za elimu ya ufundi. Na juzi ilikuwa aibu wakati tulipozuru kaunti ya Mombasa na kamati ya elimu ya bunge hili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambapo ilikuwa tulishindwa sisi kama watu wa Mombasa kujieleza ni miradi gani ambayo tumeweza kufanya katika masuala ya elimu ya kiufundi. Vituo ambavyo viko vya kufanya elimu ya kiufundi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni viwili peke yake. Kimoja kiko maeneo ya Mtongwe katika Likoni sub county ama Likoni constituency, na chengine kiko sehemu za Mwakirunge katika eneo la bunge la Kisauni. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, ipo haja ya sisi kama Senate kuangalia kwa makini utendakazi wa kaunti zetu, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu bila hivyo tutakuwa tunapiga kelele hapa, tunakauka koo, tunasema pesa ziende katika kaunti, lakini tukifika kule hakuna maendeleo yote wananchi wetu wanapata kuhakikisha kwamba kaunti zetu zinaendelea. Mheshimiwa Spika, la mwisho ni kuwa hukumu ya juzi ambayo ilisema kuwa lazima bunge liweze kuangalia ripoti za auditor kufikia tarehe 31 mwezi wa 3. Mheshimiwa Spika, tutaiunga mkono pia kwa sababu itatupa nafasi ya fedha ziweze kugawanywa kwa tarakimu za kisawasawa kabisa. Kwa sababu katika mswada huu wa sasa hesabu zilizotumika za mwaka 2020-2021 ambao ni miaka 5 iliyopita, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo wakiweza bunge likiweza kupitisha hesabu hizi kwa mapema zaidi, Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwa ni vizuri zaidi, kwa sababu tutagawanya pesa, zitagawanya kulingana na hesabu za sasa ambazo zinatumika katika serikali kuu. Kwa hiyo mengi, Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono mswada huu, na vile vile naomba kwamba tuweze kupitisha hiyo bilioni 465. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante. Next is Senator Sifuna Edwin.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Over the weekend, we had occasion, together with some of the colleagues from the National Assembly, to attend a function together in Migori. The majority leader was there. And part of the conversation we had when we were having lunch with our colleagues from the National Assembly is they thought that not everything between our two houses has to come to a stalemate before it is addressed. But, Honorable Speaker, it saddens me that for the third straight year that I've been a senator of Nairobi, the National Assembly is again inviting us to a stalemate on this question of the division of revenue. I ask myself the question, why do we have to have a mediation every single year? I have never understood why our brothers in the National Assembly cannot just do what is right by devolution and what is right by the people. If indeed they know the recommendation that has been made by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, why can't they just give counties the 450 billion shillings that we have been asking for? But we will do what we have to do, Honorable Speaker, and fight for the rights of the devolution family in the best way that we can, because that is the duty that we saw to undertake. Honorable Speaker, I want to make it clear from the onset that I agree fully with the recommendations that have been made by our own committee on budget and finance. Speaker, I want to refer you very quickly to page 6 of that report. At page 6 of that report, Honorable Speaker, you will see that the committee has noted the projected revenue for the financial year 2025-2026 is estimated to be 2.8 trillion shillings. Out of this, the national government share is 2.4, Honorable Speaker, representing 85.3% of our entire revenue. And that the 405 billion Kenya shillings that has been proposed for the devolution family represents a paltry 14.28% of the total revenue. 14.28 falls short of the threshold that has been set by the Constitution of a minimum of 15%. Honorable Speaker, of course, they will argue that they are basing their math on the last audited accounts that have been approved by Parliament. But we know that this continues to be an injustice to the devolution family. Somebody made a remark in the morning here that, in fact, the current Treasury CS, John Badi, was the chair of PAC in the National Assembly, whose responsibility it was to ensure that the National Assembly is up to date so that the devolution family does not continue to lose money. I will come back to John Badi in a short while, Honorable Speaker. But allow me to say that the Senate, this House, has recommended 465 billion. I don't know why the Speaker is shaking his head. Honorable Speaker, is there a problem? Have I said something that was offended the Speaker? Because, Honorable Speaker, I'll proceed as if nothing has happened. So, Speaker, if you look at the committee's observations on page 7, that the recommendation we have made as a Senate of 465 billion has science behind it. It is not just a figure that was plucked from the air. And you will see the committee says that the recommendation was informed by the need for county governments to meet new non-discretionary financial obligations relating to, number 1, housing levy deductions. This is a national government imposition. Number 2, contributions to the National Social Security Fund. Number 3, matching allocations for the county integrated industrial parks, which is a program that was initiated by the national government requiring county governments to match them. Matching allocations for community health promoters program. Honorable Speaker, this responsibility falls upon us as a county government to make sure we pay these CHPs. And then the procurement of new medical equipment. When we were in Mandera with Senator Roba, we were informed that all those beautiful machines in that referral hospital have come to the end of their lease, and we need for these county hospitals and facilities to be able to acquire new ones. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, meeting the outstanding obligation under doctors' collective bargaining agreements and annual wage drift. Speaker, you know, every single day, medical workers are outside our house here, including yesterday. They were here in Parliament. Sadly, they were tear gassed by the police. I don't know why, because they have been there every single day for the past 3 or so months. They have been there. Even today, they are here, Honorable Speaker. And we have been told by the leadership of these unions that these collective bargaining agreements are binding to county governments. So, Honorable Speaker, where we have reached in the health sector, in fact, I want to plead with the UHC workers that where we have reached now, the only thing we want to discuss is money. The time for stories is over. And the house that handles money is the National Assembly. So let them be protesting there, because we as a Senate have done our part. The chair of the Budget Committee must allocate the money that is required to absorb these UHC health workers and are permanent and pensionable. When I was in Garissa, I ran into the CS for health. And he was also trying to be clever by drawing in the Senate. Yet we as a Senate have done our job. CS Duale knows very well that the Senate does not appropriate any money. He wants it to look like we are the problem, yet the problem and the people with the power of the past is the National Assembly, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, there is the question of the MOU that we signed between ODM and UDA. Honorable Speaker, I said I will come back to CS Mbadi because it has been said out there that I only criticize, but I don't say anything positive about our experts in the government. The truth of the matter is, if you do something that is contrary to what ODM stands for, it is my responsibility to say that that is against what ODM stands for. When CS Mbadi says that in this particular financial year, there will be no new taxes he introduces under the Finance Act, that is ODM. That is who we are. We say tick. When Mbadi says that, I saw in today's newspapers, Honorable Speaker, that he has issued a circular that is going to introduce transparency in the PPP process. He has adopted wholesale the recommendations of the committee of this House on transport and housing, which was dealing with the Adani question, Honorable Speaker, when we said that, number 1, if you are a government agency that receives a privately initiated proposal on any development, you have a responsibility to disclose that you have received that document. He has adopted that. As SG, I say, that is ODM. We are for transparency. Tick. Honorable Speaker, we have said in the committee where I used to sit when Karua was the chair, I was a member, that you have to allow, after you receive a privately initiated proposal for a PPP, you have to allow other people to give you a better offer, what we called in the committee the Swiss challenge. I have seen he has put it in the circular. I say that is ODM. We say tick. But this one here, where he's proposing 405 billion Kenya shillings, it is my responsibility to say to the CS for Treasury, that is not what ODM has agreed with UDA. We agreed in the MOU, and I carry this MOU everywhere I go because I encounter ignorance at all levels, Honorable Speaker. And it is my responsibility to make sure that I deal with the ignorant about what this MOU provides for. Honorable Speaker, the majority leader was with me in Migori, and he asked me that he has read this MOU, that it is a good thing. But he doesn't understand why it is Sifuna's role to ask people questions. I want to explain a few things to him. Unfortunately, he has walked out. Number one, if you look at the constitution of ODM under Article 11, Honorable Speaker, it sets out the duties of members of ODM. Number one, Honorable Speaker, it is our duty as members of a party to understand the programs and the things that the party gets itself into. Once you have understood, it is a responsibility stated in the constitution to explain what the party is doing. It is my responsibility to explain what we are doing with UDA. And finally, Honorable Speaker, under Article 11, we have a duty to combat propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of ODM. Combat is the word that is used by the Constitution. When you combat, you are not required to be nice, although my party leader has asked me to reduce the number of papers that I put in the soup. Honorable Speaker, combat means you take it head on, propaganda that is detrimental to the interests of a party. Such propaganda as to what the provisions of this document are. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, Article 20 of the Constitution of ODM says that the Secretary General of ODM is the depository and custodian. Just a minute, let me make my point. Is the custodian of all documents, including all agreements that the party signs.
Just a minute, Senator Sifuna. What is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm rising under Standing Order number 101, and there's a facet of it. It's a lot of things about it. But generally, if you look at under 101, it's the content of speeches that we make in this House. And Mr. Speaker, the SG of ODM, who is my SG, who I really also respect also as my deputy party whip, deputy whip in this House, has brought the argument on the agreement that ODM had with Kenya Kwanza as a substantive conversation around what we must have in this House when we're looking at what we have. Mr. Speaker, this is a spirit that I do support. However, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for this to be the basis for which we are discussing the issue of division of revenue in this House, when that agreement has not been put in this House and tabled as would be required under that standing order, Mr. Speaker, to the extent that there has been a motion that informs our debates here? Because if you revert to that as a substantive issue that informs your speech in this House, then, Mr. Speaker, we will be taking the role of this Parliament away from us and taking it to discussions outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker, so that we are actually taking our role as senators to debate issues in this House, Mr. Speaker, and giving it to forces outside the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And the reason why I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, is because the issue of division of revenue, what happens, Mr. Speaker, for senators in this House who are not party to that particular agreement? They need to participate in the division of revenue conversation, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order for the Senator of Nairobi to bring that argument and that document as a basis for us to discuss in this House, Mr. Speaker?
Senator Okech, I've looked at the Standing Order 101, contents of speech from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I cannot see any contravention from what Senator Sifuna is addressing to. You know, when debating, you can really gather your things from here and there as you put your points in order. You know, we cannot limit debate in this House or people to think in a certain way. And that is why the Senate is respected, because senators are able to speak even 20 minutes. Unless other houses where they only do 2-3 minutes and they sit down. So let us not steal for debate, as long as he's not mentioning names anyhow. But this is standing on the mentioning names of other people. Mention the mentioning names of other people. mention the office, which is okay, but the names are not going to use the names of the CS by his name and not these other people.
Honorable Speaker,
maybe because he is not the CS now, maybe he has been reshuffled. So use the office.
Well guided, Honorable Speaker, you can see that from members of ODM. And it is my responsibility to teach, because that's what the constitution of a party requires me to do. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I was coming to the point that we are discussing. Division of revenue is a matter that has been covered under this agreement. And, Honorable Speaker, this agreement is not restricted to government establishes. The propaganda I was saying we must combat is what this agreement is and what it is not. This agreement does not form a government. In fact, what it says, Honorable Speaker, is that it sets up a platform for collaboration and cooperation between all political forces, not ODM and UDA, all political forces and other stakeholders in Kenyan society. So everybody is welcome to have this. We come to Article 3 of this document, Honorable Speaker. Number 1, it talks about protecting and strengthening devolution. Honorable Speaker, please allow.
No, unfortunately, I cannot deny members' points of order.
Yeah, but Honorable
On
Speaker,
the floor, it's not possible.
21, you have powers to stop frivolous points of order. Please allow me to debate, because I think.
Please, just have a seat. I want to reason if it is frivolous or it is. Because I can't determine before it is. He talks about it.
Speaker, it's very rare that you get a frivolous point of order from me. The only concern that I have, Mr. Speaker, is that my friend Senator Sifuna is extensively quoting a document that is not tabled. That's my only problem, because I really, it should actually be music to my ears. But he could just do the simple thing, just table the document so that we can also have access to what you're saying. That's my only issue. But what he's saying, it is music to my ears.
A relevant point of order, because you are referring to a document that is not circulated, so that members, the other senators can have a look at it to also follow up your debate. Maybe if you want to do that, you can just table, they get copies.
Honorable Speaker, the only reason I'm making reference to this document is because it turns on the division of revenue. Honorable Speaker, in the morning, I watched my colleagues debate this matter. And in fact, there was a reference to this document over and over, including from Senators Kajwang and the others. I did not see anybody rise up on a point of order. You know, Honorable Speaker, in this House, I feel sometimes that the rules don't apply fairly to me, that there is an attempt always to derail when I'm here. People spoke continuously for 20 minutes without any interruption. But when Sifuna is on the floor, suddenly people want to issue points of order. Honorable Speaker, another thing is that when a document is public, this is a public document that was signed in open daylight. But people don't know even referencing any documents. I am going to reference the positions that the party has taken on devolution, been part of the people who birthed it, because that's a clawback to devolution. So that person who was asking me yesterday, there's a senator who asked me yesterday why I was not at that place. It's because I believe in devolution. And this is clawback to devolution. Number 2, the reason why my party and my party leader has taken a position on RMLF, and he has taken schedule, their own that is supposed to go to counties for the maintenance going, but my party and my party leader has taken that position, and that is my Kenya shillings. And then lastly, Honorable Speaker, called a disbursement schedule, Honorable Speaker. But the biggest problem is that the county, the National Treasury, never respect. They were receiving money for February this month, if it has been disbursed already. It is impossible to plan and to run. I went to Karua West a few months ago. There's a market there. The most troubling thing for the traders was that although they pay market levies to the county government had allowed the construction of those modern kiosks at the entrance of the market, so that every customer who comes to the market has no business or interest going into the market. Everything can be found in the kiosks outside. Be that once that new market is there, they will accommodate everybody there. I want to go back there. Look at our sporting facilities. We had that conversation when we were doing statements. City Stadium, Honorable Speaker, has been closed for over 2 years up to now. And when you ask governors why nothing, go to James Kang'ethe in Woodley, that is the same situation. Honorable Speaker, resident associations in Roysambu, under the leadership of the MCA, so Peter Mumbi. Honorable Speaker, would you believe it? There is not a single playground have been grabbed. If you go to Marurui Health Center and you look at the situation of that place, Honorable Speaker, it is because, you can imagine, Honorable Speaker, it is a maternity, and it is so close to the road that people can actually hear and see our mothers when they are giving birth and dignity. You should go to Marurui when it rains, Honorable Speaker. You will be embarrassed to be in the city of Nairobi. I had another meeting recently with allocation for construction of roads. Some contractors did good Cabro roads in the ward, but they have not been paid up to now. When you ask Sakaja, Governor Sakaja, he will tell you he has no money. Let disbursement by the National Treasury and other challenges that he says he's facing. I had a meeting with Karis, who is our MCA, Honorable Speaker, from Ruai. Ruai is one of the largest wards actually in Nairobi. It is actually the largest. I think it's about 100 square kilometers. Honorable Speaker, number one, there are no roads that have been built by the county in Ruai, Honorable Speaker, and about 387 million shillings was allocated. Then the road construction was broken into two parts, Part A and Part B. The contractor did something for Part A. 3 rainy seasons later, Honorable Speaker, that entire thing was washed away because he did not have the resources to be able to complete the road. He told me about the water situation in his ward. Honorable Speaker, that cartels have gotten into the procurement for the connections from the main pipes to the homes and ensured that a tender is not awarded for that work. Up to today, the people of Ruai are not enjoying that water that they were supposed to enjoy. I was shocked, Honorable Speaker, that the situation in his ward is so bad that private people have decided to fund county services, that they will ask for the county to give them a tipper, a lorry, or those machines that grade roads. They will fuel it themselves. Honorable Speaker, are we really in a situation where private money now has to be sourced for us to be able to undertake services for our people? It is such a shame, Honorable Speaker. And these are the reasons why I want to say, Honorable Speaker, I agree 100% with our Committee on Finance and Budget, who have proposed 465. For me, the line will be drawn in the sand at 450, personally, because of the position that has been taken by my party. Honorable Speaker, therefore, we will not support any attempts to claw back our devolution, and we want to say that the CS for Treasury must make sure that there is observance of the disbursement schedule so that county governors can also plan. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, allow me to say something that arose in the course of the debate in the morning. Honorable Speaker, as a Kenyan leader, I know that we leaders have a responsibility to Kenyans and no other person. I was deeply embarrassed, Honorable Speaker, that at a time when people are being deported from our neighboring country, and if you look at my passport, Honorable Speaker, I have the blue passport. It says East Africa Community. When I was a member of the Law Society of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, at the council, we used to do something called, push for something called cross-border practice. There are lawyers who are qualified from the University of Dar es Salaam, Tanzanians, who practice law in our Kenyan courts. There are students at the Kenya School of Law from Tanzania and from Uganda. I know lawyers who went to Kampala International University and Makerere, who qualified there, and they have come to the Kenya School of Law. They are practicing law in Kenya. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, for us to have a situation where people cannot be allowed to move freely in the community is something that we must call out. Honorable Speaker, I have heard people trying to justify, saying, oh, these are activists. Activism in itself, Honorable Speaker, is not a crime. I know Tanzanian law, there's no law that says activism is a crime, Honorable Speaker. So for me, I was deeply embarrassed to see our Foreign Affairs Minister, who should be our foremost defender, adopt a very nonchalant, a very laid-back, a very lazy attitude yesterday on Citizen, Honorable Speaker, that he has not even summoned the Tanzanian ambassador to ask him what was the reason why these brothers of ours were expelled. As we speak, there are Kenyans whose whereabouts are still unknown. Just show some concern for your countrymen. That is the job that you are given to do, Honorable Speaker. So I was a bit disappointed. And we need to as a community of nations in East Africa, we must, Honorable Speaker, call out dictatorial tendencies whenever they emerge, because we are all brothers. If you ask Senator Eddy at his border in Isebania, people trade and cross over freely. We are brothers and sisters, and we cannot allow a situation where we have Kenyans being deported. At least when I was deported from Angola, I took it in stride. By the way, nobody in government bothered, Honorable Speaker. But I was okay, because me, I can take care of myself. Plus, Angola is far away. We don't share any borders. I don't think I know any Kenyan who's married to an Angolan. It was okay. But Tanzania are our brothers and sisters. And we must, Honorable Speaker, stand up for every Kenyan. This is the reason why, Honorable Speaker, when people start conversations about patriotism, it is very difficult to love a country that does not care about you. That I know that if I am in a quandary somewhere outside Kenya, the Kenyan government, or at least the CS for Foreign Affairs, will not care what happens to Sifuna. Honorable Speaker, it breaks my heart. If I was stuck in southern Lebanon when the war began, would this government really come for me? That is the question I ask myself. We are on our own. Then when we complain, people say, oh, you don't love your country. Love, Honorable Speaker, is reciprocal. You love me, I love you. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wambueno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like the parting shot by Senator Sifuna. He's craving love from the government so that he can love back. Mr. Speaker, I'm very sure there is nothing out of order there. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I want to, from the onset, declare that I fully support the recommendations by the Senate Committee on Finance and Budget on the division of Revenue Bill 2025. Mr. Speaker, the committee has given us a very elaborate and scientific account of why they are proposing 465 billion as the allocation to counties in this coming financial year. Mr. Speaker, first things first, I like the keenness of the committee, because on page 8 of their report, paragraph D, on the observations, they have captured it very well, Mr. Speaker, that the bill is using the most recent audited and approved accounts of revenue for the year 2020-2021, which then amounted to 1.5 trillion. But the same assembly, on April 15th, later after doing their maths, they approved the audited accounts of revenue of 1.9 trillion for the financial year 2021-2022, which then makes that 1.9 trillion the latest audited accounts, and all calculations then should flow from the financial year 2021-2022. But Mr. Speaker, even without going to the science of this argument as captured by the report of our committee, Mr. Speaker, it is very clear that the ordinary revenue is growing every year, but there is no proportionate growth in revenue allocated to county governments. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the report, it captures the imagination of all Kenyans of goodwill, that there are expenditures that are non-discretionary for county governments. Expenditures like payments to chief, the housing levy, NSSF, and the county aggregated industrial parks. Mr. Speaker, these are policy decisions that have been taken at the national level, which policy decisions have a direct bearing on the revenues of county governments. When you say that you are going to allocate 250 million Kenya shillings for the county aggregated industrial park in every county, and every county government is supposed to match that allocation, as a speaker, it is not like there is any county government that has the option of opting out. All of them must spend 250 million Kenya shillings to match the government expenditure for the parks. And for this reason, Mr. Speaker, there is reason to consider that amount in the allocation to counties. Because then if you don't, what it means is that they will have to stop other budgetary allocations for their functions to support the industrial parks. And Mr. Speaker, that is basic intelligence. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the UHC, and every speaker has spoken to this matter, Mr. Speaker. You know, hardly a day passes before medics working under the universal health coverage demonstrate outside of Parliament, and specifically outside the gates of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, I heard the minister or the cabinet secretary responsible for health the other day saying that they are now going to be offloading the UHC staff to county governments. Mr. Speaker, if that is going to happen, then the expectation, Mr. Speaker, would be that all these UHC staff, if they have got to migrate to the county government's payrolls, then they must migrate with their budget for their salaries and allowances. Because, Mr. Speaker, you cannot expect that you will migrate such a huge portion of workers and staff to a level of government, and then that level of government is supposed to use their own money again to pay and compensate the important services offered by UHC staff. So, Mr. Speaker, there is reason to stick to the guidance by our committee to ensure that counties get 465 billion for the next financial year. Mr. Speaker, I want to address myself to the issue of roads. Mr. Speaker, there has been debate as to whether then some of the roads that are being carried out by national government agencies, including Kenya and Kera, actually don't belong to county governments. Mr. Speaker, truth be told, and I'm happy that I've heard that the Prime Minister will be with us tomorrow. We'll have a conversation about these issues because I know this is a matter that is very, very dear to him. On the issue of monies allocated to roads in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is no denying that the agencies of government, Kenya, and especially Kenya and Kera, are undertaking road projects that actually belong to county governments. Mr. Speaker, maybe a time has come to consider scrapping those agencies and transferring those funds to county governments so that they may be able to roll out road projects in their respective counties. Mr. Speaker, there have been arguments all through that, oh, if you send money to the counties, the money is being stolen, governors are misappropriating funds. Mr. Speaker, that can never be a reason why we should not add monies to counties. Mr. Speaker, that's a lazy argument. Because, Mr. Speaker, if it is true, and I know it could be true, that money is being misappropriated at the county level, Mr. Speaker, there is a law that deals with people who misappropriate funds at whatever level of government. Instead of saying that we will not give more money to counties because they are going to appropriate the funds, Mr. Speaker, go for the people that are misappropriating those funds and charge them in a court of law. So, Mr. Speaker, we don't punish Kenyans who are supposed to be enjoying the fruits of devolution by the argument, lazy argument, that if we give more money to counties, then the governors and their cronies will steal the money. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the sharing of revenue to county governments and national government. Mr. Speaker, I wish this argument would sink and sink well. There is a very big misplaced notion that the national government can allocate money to county governments. Mr. Speaker, that is a notion that we must really deal with. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, and I don't know what has happened to a bill that I had proposed to separate the Ministry of Finance and Treasury. I think it's still being worked on. I don't know, Mr. Speaker. But surely, Mr. Speaker, it can never be that the national government will decide how much money will be given to county governments. That is not their work to do. Mr. Speaker, the decision as to how much money goes to each level of government is a decision of Parliament. The Speaker, the last time I checked, a Parliament is defined as the Senate and the National Assembly. So this matter sits properly where it is. It is us, elected leaders at the national legislature, to decide the division of revenue between the two levels of government, the national government and the county governments. And so, Mr. Speaker, what the Treasury can do is just make a submission like any other stakeholder would make a submission on how the monies should be shared. It should never be lost on us, Mr. Speaker, as legislators, as leaders in this country, that this is our responsibility. This is not the responsibility of the national government to determine and decide how much money will go to county governments. And also, Mr. Speaker, I want to address governors. Mr. Speaker, we spend a lot of time on the floor of this chamber and in our committees trying to push as much as we can to allocate funds that are commensurate with the functions allocated to county governments. But, Mr. Speaker, at times when we are negotiating and pushing for more funds, more often than not, the governors would strike a deal at some organization called IBEC and decide that they are going to settle for less. And, Mr. Speaker, just by that stroke of decision, our people begin to suffer low allocations. Mr. Speaker, on this one, I want to plead with our governors to sit back and wait for the Senate to fight for allocation to counties, because that is a core responsibility and a core function of the Senate. The Speaker, as I conclude, I want to say this, Mr. Speaker. The CRA has a responsibility and a duty of care to ensure the success of devolution. One of the greatest things and assignments that the CRA should have undertaken by now, more than 15 years, Mr. Speaker, into devolution, is the aspect of costing devolved functions. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why it has taken forever for the CRA to do proper costing of devolved functions. So, Mr. Speaker, we stop groping in the dark. So when you say you want to finance a devolved function like agriculture in the 47 counties in the country, how much money is needed to be allocated to the counties to deal with matters agriculture? If you want to say, Mr. Speaker, we want to properly fund health, how much money do we need to devolve to the health dockets in our counties to be able to facilitate proper health care? And Mr. Speaker, so the CRA must be called out to move with speed, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that they cost the functions that are devolved. Mr. Speaker, the indication of how the percentages that should go to each level of government, the English use there is very simple and basic, that it is at least 15%. So the argument there should be that whatever it is that you do, even after you've done the costing, whatever you do, even if it costs so little, that allocation should not be less than 15% of the nationally collected revenue. As you have 15%, it's not a dictate. It's not like you're being told, just give 15%. You're told you can actually even, Mr. Speaker, you know the real analysis of that provision is that you can actually decide to give even 80% of the nationally collected revenue to counties and give 20% to the national government. That is the interpretation. For as long as you don't give county governments less than 15% of the nationally collected revenue. And Mr. Speaker, when you talk about the nationally collected revenue, what are we talking about? We are talking about monies collected in every corner of this country. Mr. Speaker, it is very unfair to the remote parts of our country where revenues are collected and so little of it is plowed back to those regions. The people, Mr. Speaker, of Kaningo in Mwangi North, the people of Usweni, Mr. Speaker, who are your neighbors in Mwangi North, the people of Adi, who border Kibwezi and Makwiny County, Mr. Speaker, those people contribute to the nationally collected revenue in this country. And those people, Mr. Speaker, they need the monies plowed back to them for service delivery. And that's why we say, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of roads, it is actually ridiculous that we will collect money from all over, including the RMLF. And again, I'm very, very happy that the Prime Minister will be here tomorrow. I'm very sure he's very passionate about the matter of the RMLF. And Mr. Speaker, you collect money from all over the country because vehicles are being fueled all over the country. Then you take almost the entire amount of money and you give it to national government road agencies to roll out projects. But the people, the bulk of the people who have contributed to that fund continue to suffer bad roads. Mr. Speaker, it is time that this Senate put their foot on the ground, Mr. Speaker, and insist that we are going to stick to 465 billion Kenya shillings allocated to the county governments. Mr. Speaker, lastly, to the members of the National Assembly, we will take the invitation to go into mediation on this bill. But what I want to tell members of the National Assembly is that the country is watching. The people are watching. I don't know what it is that Kenyans living in counties, and every Kenyan lives in a county. I don't know what the problem is that the members of the National Assembly have with devolution. As Speaker, I have said before, I want to go back on record, that actually the biggest enemies of devolution in this country, first in that list is the National Assembly. Why would you want to allocate less money to roll out functions in your constituencies, functions that are affecting your own family members, your own constituents? Because, as Speaker, if we send more money to constituencies, to counties, and this money is used to roll out health programs, to do water projects, to do, Mr. Speaker, issue with roads. It is the people in the constituencies represented by members of the National Assembly who stand to benefit. I don't see why we should be having this argument all the time, every year, that we must fight over division of revenue. And every time this fight comes up, Mr. Speaker, the National Assembly is allocating less money, the Senate wants more money. I don't know why this battle is important, but Mr. Speaker, because we have been invited into this battle, we are going to get into the ring, we are going to fight, and are going to win for the Kenyans living in our country. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support the report of the Finance and Budget Committee and the proposed amendments to the bill. I thank you.
Very well. Senator David Wakoli.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to switch languages so that I communicate to Kenyans. I plead for your permission, Honorable Speaker. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker kwa nafasi hii ili niweze kuchangia kuhusiana na mapendekezo ya fedha ambazo zapaswa kwenda katika kaunti. Mheshimiwa Speaker, jumba la Senate limejieleza wazi kwamba tunahitaji bilioni 460 ili kugharamia changamoto na hali ya maisha katika kaunti zetu na bajeti ambazo kaunti zimeweza kuwasilisha katika maeneo bunge yao. Mheshimiwa Speaker, wiki lililopita, Mheshimiwa Speaker, vikundi vya maseneta vimekuwa vikizuru pembe mbalimbali za nchi ya Kenya kukagua miradi ya maendeleo na utekelezaji wa miradi na ugatuzi katika nchi ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Speaker, mimi ni mmojawapo wa kamati ya afya. Mheshimiwa Speaker, tulizuru kaunti ya Wajir, Marsabit, Mheshimiwa Speaker, na Mandera. Mheshimiwa Speaker, yale tuliyaona, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni ya kusikitisha kwamba baadhi za kaunti ambazo tuko nazo hazina fedha za kutosha kununua mitambo ya kisasa ya matibabu. Hazina pesa ya kutosha kuajiri matabibu ambao tumeona wakiandamana na wana ari ya kupeana huduma kwa Wakenya. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kamati ya ardhi, Mheshimiwa Speaker, imezuru Kisii na Busia. Mheshimiwa Speaker, tunaona vile vile lazima sekta hiyo iweze kupewa fedha za kutosha ili masuala ya ardhi katika kaunti yaweze kushughulikiwa. Na iwapo haya yote lazima yatekelezwe, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni lazima tuongeze kimo ama fedha ambazo zinaenda katika kaunti zetu. Wiki iliyopita, Mheshimiwa Speaker, nilikuwa na kamati ya ukulima, uchumi samawati na ufugaji katika kaunti ya Bungoma. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kulikuwa na ari ama moyo kwa wakulima wa kahawa waweze kupata ardhi ya kuzindua taasisi ya utafiti, waweze kuwa na maabara ya kutafiti aina na ubora wa kahawa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, lakini hivi vyote iwapo tunataka vitekelezwe, lazima bajeti zinazoenda katika kaunti zetu ziweze kuimarika. Wakulima wa maziwa, Mheshimiwa Speaker, kule kwetu wanauza lita kwa shilingi 35, na katika maeneo mengine nchini, Mheshimiwa Speaker, wanauza kwa shilingi 50. Kile tunasema ni lazima fedha ziongezwe katika makadirio ya bajeti ili magavana waweze kuwajibika kwa fedha ambazo wako nazo na Wakenya waweze kuandama fedha hizi kuhakikisha kwamba zinatekeleza majukumu yao. Kule Bungoma, Mheshimiwa Speaker, serikali imezindua baadhi ya soko pale Bukembe, ukija Misihu, ukienda Webuye, ukienda Cheptonon, ukienda Misihu, ukienda mji mkuu wa Bungoma. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni baadhi ya soko ambazo serikali imeweka kandarasi ili watu wachukue zabuni na kujenga. Lakini itakuwaje kwamba serikali ya kitaifa inataka kufanya kazi ya kaunti ambazo zilipigiwa kura na magavana ambao wako na wajibu wa kujenga soko? Sisi tunashukuru serikali imeanzisha mchakato wa kujenga soko, lakini sasa tunataka tunaposonga mbele bajeti ziwekwe katika kaunti zetu ili magavana na mawaziri wao wapange na viongozi wa wadi waweze kufanya kile tunasema kudhibiti na kuchunga jinsi fedha hizi zinavyotumika. Mheshimiwa Spika, ndio kwa sababu mimi nasema jumba la kitaifa wana fedha ambazo naona wanaparamia, wanataka zidhibitiwe katika mikoba yao. Ni sawa. Lakini sisi kama maseneta lazima tuhakikishe kwamba Wakenya ambao kila mara wanakamuliwa kwa ushuru wao, lazima tuwafanyie kazi. Sekta ya maji, Mheshimiwa Spika, ukienda katika maeneo ambayo yana ukame, wana shida ya maji. Maji yamegatuliwa. Lazima wawe na mitambo na mashine ya kuchimba maji ili kina mama katika pembe mbalimbali waweze kujinufaisha. Ukienda katika sekta ya vyuo anuai na shule za chekechea, Mheshimiwa Spika, utagundua kwamba baadhi ya maeneo ni vyumba peke yake vimejengwa, hakuna vifaa vya kutosha, hakuna vyakula ambavyo vina virutubishi vya kuinua afya ya watoto, na hakuna walimu wa kutosha wa kufunza watoto hawa. Itawezekanaje kaunti zitekeleze majukumu yao haya pasipo kuwa na pesa za kutosha ili kuhakikisha watoto wanapoanza kwenda shule wanapata nafasi sawa na watoto wa mabwenyenye na matajiri ambao shule zao za chekechea wanaenda kwa magari, wanakunywa maziwa ambayo yako katika chupa zile zilizoundwa sawa sawa, wanabembelezwa na kuimbiwa nyimbo za kulala, ili hali watoto wa mashinani, Mheshimiwa Spika, wanakung'utwa na mbu pasipo wao kuwa na chochote katika tumbo zao. Ndio kwa sababu mimi ninaomba Mheshimiwa Spika, tunapokata kauli,
Seneta Wakoli, kiongozi wa wachache.
Asante Bwana Spika. Sijui kama Bwana Spika umesikia ndugu yetu Wakoli akisema kwamba kuna wale ambao watoto wao wanakunywa zile chupa za kawaida, na alafu kuna wale watoto wa mabwenyenye wanaokunywa na zile chupa zilizoumbwa ama zilizotengenezwa kisawa sawa. Sijui kama kuna chupa za aina hiyo katika watoto wadogo wakiwa wanaweza wanafyonza ama wananyonya hizo chupa ama wanafanya namna gani? Sijui angeweza kutueleza zaidi.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Naheshimu uwezo na tajriba ya seneta ambaye ameniuliza swali. Lakini Wakenya wanaponitazama sasa wanaelewa fika kwamba baadhi ya kaunti watoto huona maziwa kwa vyombo vya habari. Watoto huona maziwa huenda mbuzi anaponyonya mwana, mbuzi anaponyonya mamake. Sasa mambo ya chupa, Mheshimiwa Spika, yasiwe yale ya muhimu sana. Cha muhimu angalau mmoja anakunywa maziwa kwa chupa ya kawaida na mwingine anakunywa chupa katika maziwa katika vijikombe vya kimabati hivi, Mheshimiwa Spika. Cha muhimu nataka nirejelee katika hoja, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwamba ugatuzi uliletwa katika nchi ya Kenya kusawazisha maisha ya Wakenya na kuwaweka katika baraste iliyo sawa. Vyuo anuai na vyuo vya chekechea lazima vile vile kuwa na maabara, kuwa na walimu wa kutosha, kuwa na mashini na mitambo ya utafiti ya kutosha, ili watoto wanapotoka Bungoma, wanapotoka Marsabit, wanapotoka Kisumu, wanapokutana katika uwanja wa kutafuta kazi, wote wako sawa, kwa sababu ugatuzi uliwatendea wema wote pasipo kunyimwa haki kikatiba. Ndio kwa sababu mimi naungana na maseneta wengine na kusema kwamba wakati umefika magatuzi yapewe pesa za kutosha, na tunapowapa pesa sisi sasa tutawaandama katika miradi ya maendeleo, tuhakikishe kwamba fedha zinazowekwa kwa miradi hii inaenda sambamba na yale tunaona kihalisia kwa macho mashinani. Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, nimegundua hivi kwamba kuna ng'ombe wa kiuchumi ni miradi gushi, miradi hewa. Yaani wanaweka mamilioni, kumbe chini ya mamilioni haya kuna wale wanakamulia chini kama wanakandarasi. Lazima Wakenya wawe macho kuhakikisha kwamba miradi inayotekelezwa inaafiki matarajio yao na wanahusisha umma, kwa kimombo wanasema public participation, ili miradi iafiki matarajio ya wale wahusika ambao watanufaika na miradi hii. Sasa katika mapana na marefu, falsafa ya serikali. Mimi naomba kwamba jumba la Senate lisimame wima, lisimame tisti, lisiyumbishwe, lisipigiwe simu kutoka kwingine. Tuamue jinsi tumeamua sasa, tutetee magatuzi yetu. Na hizi pesa zinapoenda chini, Mheshimiwa Spika, zikienda mashinani, vijana wengi mitandaoni hawana kazi. Na mimi naomba Senate pia wachangamkia wa magavana. Kandarasi na kazi zinazopewa kule mashinani, baadhi ya makampuni zinazopewa ni makampuni ambayo yameandaliwa kitaaluma Nairobi, ya watu fulani Nairobi, kunyima vijana wa mashinani kazi. Lazima tumulike hapo, tujue 30% wanasema iwe watu wenyeji ama 70 ya wenyeji. Lakini ukimulika sana, baadhi ya wanakandarasi hao wengine sio wenyeji, lakini ni wale wanasema briefcase, mabegi ya wanakandarasi ambao wananyonya na kufyonza jasho za watu wa county. Na lazima pia wao tuwaandame ili ugatuzi uweze kuafiki malengo ya waasisi wa ugatuzi. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Salama. Senator Beatrice Akinyi.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for granting me this opportunity. And from the word onset, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the report on the Division of Revenue Bill 2025. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution talks about 2 levels of government. 1, the national government, and 47 county governments. And these governments, county governments, Honorable Speaker, are referred to as distinct, with constitutional mandates that must be carried out, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, from the word go, we would like to tell Kenyans and anybody who cares to listen that Kenyans are one, and there are no Kenyans that we can classify as belonging to the national government and others belonging to the county government. Honorable Speaker, that is why revenue that is shared between the 2 levels of government must be done in such a way that the other levels of government, which are 47, are able to operate because they have functions that have been provided to them by Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to laud one outstanding personality in this republic, one Raila Amolo Odinga. And I'm happy that the former Prime Minister is going to come to the Senate tomorrow and address senators here, Honorable Speaker. Senator Nyamu seems to be surprised. Senator, you need to be prepared tomorrow that the father of devolution is going to be at the Senate, and we'll be ready to listen to his words of wisdom. He's a man that has been firm, that he believes in devolution, and he has supported devolution since then, and he continues to support, Honorable Speaker. The former Prime Minister stands with the tenets of devolution even when a number of people are not happy about it, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, coming back to the report that I rise to support, the report talks about the projected revenue collection for the year 2025-2026. And Honorable Speaker, there is a proposed county government's equitable share of 409 billion, which represents, according to this document, 14.28%, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, that is in itself below the constitutional mandates that talks about not less than 15%. So, Honorable Speaker, why would we be talking about 14.28%? And Honorable Speaker, to support a few speakers that have been on the floor that the Constitution talks about not less than. It means that the county governments could be given up to 35% that a number of us have been talking about, or even more, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the county governments have constitutional mandates. And some of these services are in dire need with our people, Honorable Speaker. And that is why we are saying, Honorable Speaker, that I support this report that the county governments needs to be given not less than 465 billion for the year 2025-2026, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let's just refer back to some of the functions that the county government undertake. We have a key component of services in the roads department. Although this service is shared, Honorable Speaker, we have even a classification of roads referred to as county roads and national roads. Honorable Speaker, if the counties are not given adequate funding, how will the counties open up and make county roads motorable? Honorable Speaker, let us reflect back to our counties. I come from a constituency called Ndewa in Homa Bay County. Honorable Speaker, in Ndewa sub-county, if today you travel beyond the one tarmac road that comes from Rodi Kopany to Sori, it is just a road that goes through that constituency. Basically, we have no roads in that constituency. And part of our hope is that roads that are classified as county roads would be opened up, would be murramed, would be made motorable. Today, Honorable Speaker, we have a road that passes through Ndewa from the Ndewa low courts. It's called the Gaena, it is called Ndewa Gaena Sidede Road. Honorable Speaker, it is a key road in that constituency and in my ward. Honorable Speaker, you cannot even use any means of transport other than going on foot to use that road. In my constituency, Honorable Speaker, we have a pathetic state where when we have funerals, Honorable Speaker, we have a constituency where now we are carrying dead bodies in coffins on our heads, something that people left over 30 years ago, Honorable Speaker. And it is based on that we call that the county governments must be given adequate funds that would help them to open roads, to murram them, and to make them motorable. Honorable Speaker, roads are enablers for our economies. Our people are struggling, be they farmers or business people, Honorable Speaker. But because of lack of access, the cost of doing business, even the cost of transporting their farm produce is too high. Honorable Speaker, other than the roads, the county governments have a mandate on water. We are lucky in our counties, and in mine in particular, we have heavy rains now, so our people have the benefit of having water courtesy of rains, Honorable Speaker. But Honorable Speaker, when the rains subsides, and when the dry season comes, Honorable Speaker, water will be a problem wherever we come from. Because the rural areas depend on boreholes, Honorable Speaker, because of climate change, most of the streams that our people traditionally relied on as sources of water have all dried up. So our people have to look for water beyond the required distances worldwide. In my constituency, once more, we had a borehole that was developed by the Lake Victoria South Water Board in Dewa. It broke down a few years ago. Attempts have been made to rehabilitate the water system. So basically in that area, people have no water. Streams have dried up. We don't have boreholes. Our people don't have water. And it is for that reason that we require adequate funding so that our people can have water as provided by the county governments and as provided in Schedule 4, Honorable Speaker. On the same water provisions, Honorable Speaker, we have water, the urban water systems. But, Honorable Speaker, it is important to take note that most of the systems, the infrastructure that was developed in the urban centers that are run by the county water companies, a number of them have old systems that are aged, systems that are dilapidated, and the county government funds to rehabilitate these systems. So if you go to our urban centers and our municipalities, the people cannot consistently get water because the old systems that are there are consistently breaking down, and so the populations that have increased in those towns are not commensurate to the systems that are there to provide water. And so, Honorable Speaker, we need adequate funding as proposed in this report that I stand here to support. Honorable Speaker, another mandate that the county governments have is in agriculture. But, Honorable Speaker, there are no extension services as was envisaged in this sector. The farmers are on their own. The farmers, they prepare their farms. Honorable Speaker, when we were growing up, there used to be extensions services officers that would ride along in motorbikes across the villages.